So what is your first name? How old are you? Where are you from? And where do you go to school currently?
I'm Marcellus. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm a freshman at North Carolina Agricultural Technical State University.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So can you explain your business to the people watching at home? Like, what's the business that you have, and like, what do you sell and things like that?
Oh, for sure. Well, currently I'm a designer, so I have a service where I design like logos, graphic designs, cover arts. What else have I done? I'm working on an app, like things like that, digital design. So that's what I do right now.
That's what's up. It's real creative. So what was your K through 12 experience like? And did you go to public school, private school? What was it?
My K through 12 experience?
Yeah.
Well, I actually think about that a lot, especially recently. But in terms of my K through 12, I went to a lot of different schools just because I was in different neighborhoods and stuff like that, moving in different places. Nothing like extreme or anything, but just having the opportunity to live in different places in Richmond, Virginia. So I've gone to a lot of different schools, but like my preschool, that was the only private school I ever went to. But I remember stuff like that. That was pretty cool. Like I feel like that definitely gave me a structure for learning and my education and stuff like that. But after that, I went to one school in kindergarten. Then I changed from like 1st to 3rd grade, went to one school. Then another school from like 3rd to 5th grade. And then in 5th grade, actually, I went to a different school for one day. But I wasn't feeling it. So the next day when I went back to my old school, they was like, Marcellus. But yeah, so that. And then middle school, actually, I applied for the IB program in the middle school, but they put me on a waiting list, so I got to go to this other school like in the city for like 3 weeks, and I happened to get in. So then I went to another school from 6th to 8th grade, basically my whole middle school, and then I went to Hermitage High School, my whole high school. So high school, I happened to go to one school the whole time.
And how did you like? Well, I guess I'll dive a little bit into high school. How did you like high school? And was it like majority black, majority white? What was like the racial breakdown?
So for me, it was definitely a privilege because my high school is like right in the middle of the county. So it's like Richmond City, and then Henrico is right above. So where I live is right in between, but it's still considered like Richmond. But in the county in Henrico, Hermitage, my high school is right in the middle. So from west to east, it's kind of like white, and then as you go more east, it turns black. So Hermitage was right in the middle. So it was a privilege to be like real diverse and stuff like that. So that's something I appreciated a lot with school. So I mean, it was like half white, half black. It was like we actually had the EL program, like the English learning. So we had like over like 34 different languages spoken there. So that was what's up. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. It's always good to be around, different cultures.
Exactly. That's something I appreciate a lot. Yeah, because, the world is bigger than just where we're at right now. It's a lot of different stuff. So seeing different cultures and stuff like that is something I really appreciate.
Bet. Yeah. Now, the focus of this interview is really going to be your creative side, like the art. Did you always have an art class? And how did art classes influence your passion for art today and your like creativity today?
Well, to be completely honest, like I knew I did art like before there was art class. Like I just always loved art. Like I remember in kindergarten, I was with my dad and I was drawing, but he had like this coloring book. It was like this like circus coloring book, and so it was like lions and clowns and stuff like that. But he told me to like draw the lion from the coloring book, but I didn't like trace or anything. I just drew it, and then from there he was like, "Nah, I think you're an artist." So I always stuck with art. Like I remember being in kindergarten and like we did like it was this elephant book, and I drew the elephant, but I had like these like detailed designs and stuff. And I remember like my art being displayed at like the mall and stuff like that early on. So in terms of like art class, I definitely appreciate, like actually it's kind of funny, I had a tweet not too long ago, but I was like, I want to give a shout out to all of my art teachers like in life, because I feel like a lot of different art teachers like, taught me something different, or, because that's all art is. Like Pablo Picasso, he says, good art is borrowed, but great art is steal. So in a sense, everything is recycled and there's nothing new under the sun. It's just more or less what feels right to you and how you can express yourself through a certain style or something like that. But going through art class has expanded my mind in terms of those styles, or how to do something, or how to structure yourself and have a foundation for expressing yourself through art. So I love art. Like, art class was always fun.
Man, that's what's up.
Even in middle school, I appreciate that a lot. Like, my art teacher, she always took us on field trips. So we got to go to like the Smithsonian, like a Native American display, stuff like that. But that was cool. Like, seeing like the Chinese dynasties, like the soldier statues, like that was cool. Seeing in person, like the terracotta, that shit was cool. Like, stuff like that. So everything is art, bro. Everything in life, how the universe works, is art. So it's just having a sense of expressing yourself. So I appreciate art class for sure.
I like that view on it. That was real nice. So do you think that, like, I know you said you had some creative tendencies before you went to school, when you were really young.
Yeah.
But do you think that you would be as into art now if you never had an art class like many public school students across the country?
In terms of what are you saying?
Like, if you never had an art class, do you think that you would still be into art at the same level that you are today? Would you still be doing your creative designs? Would you still be doing art paintings in your free time? Like, would you still be so in tune into art, do you think, if you never had an art class, to explore those interests?
Well, I think in terms of knowing myself and knowing who I am, I feel like I would definitely still be doing art. Now, in terms of my structure and maybe even drive or perspective on art, I feel like that would be different if I never had an art class or never was given the opportunity for someone to teach me a certain way, or you can do something different, right? Like, if everything was just my own perspective and I still loved art, it would, I don't know how it would look, but I know it would be different from now.
Okay.
I feel like, I don't know, like, how I see it, is like, it might be like caveman or something, but not necessarily. But I just feel like being in an art class, like someone that teaches you, a space that teaches you, it just gives you a different perspective, even if you're paying attention or not. Like, you're somewhere else. Because also too, I feel like, especially from my middle school experience, and really all through school, I've been, again, having the privilege to see, different walks of life, like a perspective walks of life, or how someone's like situation is, right? And so how someone could be going through something at home and then, being put in an art class where they don't necessarily have the opportunity to express themselves, that's sort of a blessing in itself. I feel like. So, I mean, either way, I know I would be into art, but how it would look, it'd probably be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it is no secret that Black artists are not fairly represented, as their white counterparts. Black artists are very talented, but a lot of them are not at like major auctions or in fine art museums or even in like art galleries.
Most definitely.
Do you think that does this worry you? Like, if you continue to go into an art career, and do you have a plan on how you could possibly break through this industry if you want to pursue it?
So this is the thing, because I agree with you 100%. It's like, why is it that when we're like, what's the word? Like, put in the media, like how we're portrayed is, why is it a Black artist? Like, why does that even have to be said? Why can't we just be an artist, right? Why does it have to be categorized, right? So in that sense, it is sad to see, but you have to understand that that's how the world works, where we are in life and where we have been. But I'm not necessarily concerned, because for myself, I'm not just an artist. I'm more so an entrepreneur. And I know how to, market myself and market my skill that I have. And so with that being said, I don't necessarily have a worry in that sense, because a lot of artists who are, Black artists, whether male or female, young or old, we all have a understanding of how to market yourself and what you're doing and what you're providing for others, whether you're a fine artist, whether you make soap, whether, you know, you're making clothes, you know, whatever you're providing, you know, that's art within itself. And as long as you know how to, not only how to market yourself, but how to support, you know, those who are doing it, because it takes a level of support, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna support your business, or I'm gonna support what you have going on, and understanding that you get it back in karma, even if you have a business, you know. And that's something I kind of see too, but that's a different conversation. But as long as you can support, and as long as you understand what you're supplying, and what you're giving that can help others too, then, you know, it isn't really too much a concern, especially for an artist, because art, like I said, art is just a way to express yourself, and a lot of people can relate to certain things.
You're right.
Yeah.
Now, you made a really good point there, though, and I think I want to go a little deeper into that. You said you don't really like how, you know, like if it's a white artist, you're not gonna say white artist, but when it's a black artist, you have to say
a black artist.
And like, you know, that's true in a lot of different careers.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
because it's shocking. You're like, oh, black artist, a black actor. Yeah, it's shocking to people, because, you know, people's minds have been conditioned to think that we're not good enough, or to think that we're something lesser than the best. Because if you really know your history and really understand how the world works and where we've come from, is far from it. But that's just, you know, how the world works and stuff. But yeah, it is kind of like, I guess, shocking to people, like, oh, a black artist.
Do you think that label will ever be like discontinued, or like all artists will just be seen as artists? Or do you think while you're alive, it's always gonna be like that? Like, do you think it's gonna be a major change? Because that's gonna make a lot of change. That's gonna take a lot of changes for that to be dropped. And just like you said, like in movies, like, you know, you got the black artists, you got the black movies, but they all movies, they all great. So like, when do you think we're gonna be able to stop doing that?
To an extent, but that's more theoretical. And I actually had a conversation with someone about life and like big businesses, right? Like corporation. Like if you're, you know, doing internships, you know, and trying to build your resume into a certain field, you know, it's like, are you doing stuff that can help a business theoretically, or help a business like in terms of right now? And I feel like that is like what applies to this question. It's like, you know, will it change? You know, will it be just all artists? That's theoretical, but I feel like how we should look at that in a perspective is like, we should, you know, empower ourselves from that. Like, it's like, oh, you're a black artist, or you're a black actor, you're a black producer, you're a black filmmaker. You know, it's like, yeah, I am a black artist, you know, and I'm proud to be, you know. So it's like, when someone says that or categorizes you, it's not, you're not necessarily, if you understand that, you know, you're not categorizing, you actually understand how much that can empower you, then you should flourish in that. So, you know, we can't be too wrapped up on how the world looks at us, because we have to be, you know, one with how we look at ourselves. Because there's only 3 ways you're looked at. It's how you look at yourself in life, how others look at you in life, and how the government look at you in life. Or God, you know, it change. But, you know, you should always be 100% with how you look at yourself. So whatever, you know, what you're labeled as long as you know who you are and what you put into the world and want to get out from the world, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I feel that. I wasn't trying to say like it's not empowering, because I definitely think it is, and I think it's needed. Like, we need to have the, you know, the black awards. We need to have the black movies.
Exactly.
But I do feel like damn, like, why they gotta? I don't know. Like, we should all be one. You know, I mean, that is theoretical, though.
No, most definitely.
Yeah,
I feel like too, that's also a thing. Like, it is one. It's one love. You know, it's one love. Like, no matter what, though, we're here, because that's really the bigger picture. It's like, no matter what, though, we're here, and we only have one Earth. You know, this bitch already heating up with global warming, so we have bigger problems too than what we look like. You know, so that's really the bigger picture. You know, It's like we're all here, you know, we have to share the same spaces, the trees, the birds, everything. So, I mean, that's a bigger picture to it too.
I got 2 more questions.
All right.
So my first one is, do you think that, like, when I say art, I mean in a broad sense.
Mm-hmm. Like not just painting.
Not just painting.
Sculpture, architecture. Yeah, for sure.
In the broad sense.
Yeah, anything creative.
So,
yeah, most
do
definitely.
you think that art can be as or even more influential than words when it comes to influencing people to take action on important topics or movements like Black Lives Matter and the wage gap? Like, do you think that an art piece can really change someone's mind to see the other side? You know, it's a lot of things wrong with America today. Do you think that art should be used more to communicate, you know, people's ideas on things, or just to move people? Like, what do you think on that?
I definitely agree with that. Because it's being done, it's been done, and it would continue to be done. Because, I mean, you look at artists like, I don't know if you know, like Shepard Fairey, but he has like, you know, Obey, like the Giant. He does like, it's not just like t-shirts, he does like art on propaganda, you know, what's going on in the world. Like he's done like George Bush and stuff like that. But I really feel like art definitely can create a stronger sense of a message more than words can. You know, considering how you utilize it and how efficient you are in portraying that message.
Okay.
But art definitely can, like, you know, it could be a young child, maybe they're like 6, and they do like a little crayon drawing, you know. I have crayon drawings. I'm privileged enough to have parents that saved all my artwork, and I still have it. But,
that's what's up.
you know, I'm sure there's children out there who can draw something and it really portray what's going on in the world, because that's all art is too, is a reflection. You know, artists, you know, it's like it's sad to say, but you can't say, you know, you can't spell painting without pain, you know, because it's expression. Like, that's why Van Gogh is so good, because he was hurting, right? So it's not necessarily pain, but it's a feeling in how you express. So I definitely feel like a lot of art can create change and reflect change, and reflect positivity and love within the world, because that should be your only goal in life. I mean, you can have other goals, but, you know, like, what are you getting out of it? Like, you know, are you going to be evil all your life? Are you going to get it back in blood all your life? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to get it back in blood all your life? Like, you know what I'm saying? It should get old, but you know, that should be your only goal, is like how you put peace, love, and positivity in the world, and art can do that so much, like so easily. Yeah. So easily. And it's pretty effortless.
Yeah. So my last question is, what are some things you want people to know about being an artist? Because like some people are not creative. You know, they're just behind the desk. You know, they're just good on the numbers. And there are people that's creative like you. What do you think is something they should know about, you know, just being an artist? If you have a couple of things. So.
Well, if you actually do art, well, I'm not gonna say actually do, like, if you consider yourself an artist, right? Like, if you paint, if you make pottery, if you make shoes, like, you know, if you do anything that's like tangibly, or even not even tangibly, because you can do it digitally, but just I guess sort of tangibly or creative, you know, keep on doing it. But I personally feel like every single individual in life is creative, and everyone has it within themselves. And then I understand, you know, some people's mind, you know, it's really about how your mind works, because again, that's your perspective. You know, you get your perspective from your mind. But for people that's like behind a desk, or they're just doing numbers, or they're just so like robotic to some people, you know, I feel like even those type of people are creative in that sense, because it takes a level of understanding of the things you do. Like, if you're an accountant, or if you do chain supply and you have to like sign contracts or anything, you know, you have to have a rhythm to you. And, you know, a rhythm is in everyone, and that rhythm can create creativity no matter what you do in life or who you are in life. You know, you just have to tap into it, because it's within us, you know, that's what's within us. Especially for us. Especially for us.
Good looks for coming out, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it for sure. This was fun. This was